Hi everyone. Thank you, Mehdi, for having me at APIdays one more time. It's always a great pleasure. I've been told that some of you might still not know me, which is very surprising, but I still present myself for those ones. So my name is Yann, and I'm working for Paymill as a developer evangelist, and it's kind of cool for our topic because Paymill is one of the companies who tries to make developers' life easier when it comes to payment, to online payment, and also try to enable them to provide better user experiences. But first, I would like to tell you about a story of mine. Like a while ago, I was in a restaurant. I was on a date there, and that was really cool dinner, like great burgers. The waiters were really nice, and everything was great. And so I went to pay, and then, they told me you have to go outside on the other side of the street to this machine to pay, and then you come back to get your receipt. And I was like, what is happening? That's awful. How can you treat your customers like that? It's a really bad user experience. Can you imagine that you're at a restaurant and you have to go on a bridge on the other side just to pay for your order? That might seem crazy, and you might think it didn't happen. Well, you might be right. It didn't happen exactly this way. Here is what happened. This is one of my preferred websites, which allows to order really, really great burgers. The design is clean, but it's pretty cool. You're ordering nice food. Then you reach the basket, and you're okay, I'm almost there. You already feel the taste of your burger, and you're really excited. And here is what happens on the next step. I'm not joking. This is the page you're ending on when it's come to pay. And even the broken image, I didn't invent that. It's exactly an order I tried to place yesterday. And so it's not different than the story I told before. It's exactly like sending in a shop your customers outside and asking them to pay somewhere else. It really disrupts the customer experience. Like you can't expect customers to come back on your website when this happens. I'm not inventing that. There are numbers. It's a huge loss in conversion. Please take in mind that the next step is that. And you're almost sure that you're losing a huge part of your customers in the process. So 3D secure is really important and can't be avoided, but at least try to please your customer, bringing them a nice experience before. So I'm showing you right now what is a good customer experience on a website. Don't try to reach this website, it's just a demo, and you won't be able to order donuts with it, unfortunately. Yeah, I was disappointed as well the first time. But okay, so let's say I add donuts to my basket. I say I want to have them once a week because, it's better than once a month. I go to my cart, I fill out my information, and you see this form is a lot nicer than the previous one, I guess. I confirm my order, and okay, I get my message, and unfortunately, we won't get the donuts. Sorry about that. I would have shared otherwise. So this means if you want to provide a great customer experience, what you need to do is having all your process integrated within your website, preserving the customer experience from one end to the others. So this is really about user experience, but let's think about the other side. You need to provide a great developer experience too. Ronnie said before that developers are your customers when you're providing a technical product, and that's true. Just think, now developers have a lot of decision power when it comes to choosing a technical solution, and you need to take care of them too. And for the solution I showed before, like this white form, believe me, I read the documentation again, and believe me, integrating that is no fun. You have to upload files, to upload certificates, like to do a lot of things. You have to make the redirect, a lot of stuff. It's really awful to integrate that. I've been working myself as a developer in web agencies. I even had my own web agencies at some point, and one of the biggest pain points we had was integrating payments for our customers. And we were doing e-commerce, so unfortunately it was hard to avoid, but we sometimes try to convince our customers, yeah, just deliver your goods for free, maybe. But yeah, none wanted, so we couldn't avoid integrating payment systems. But why is that? So just think about how we are building web apps today. Like, it might not have been true for decades, but now, when you build a web app, it's a matter of assembling blocks. It's like Lego, you know. It's like, okay, I'm starting a new service. I won't build, like, for example, if I have to do voice interaction, I won't build that myself. I will use Twilio. If I want a database, we have databases as a service. We have everything as a service now. And you're just plugging everything all together, like Lego bricks, and building application like that. So this allows to building prototypes and small apps pretty fast, but also much complicated things. But what happens when it comes to banking? Here is what happened most of the time. Like, you're building your stuff, just bringing services, like, you're really happy, and then you have to integrate your payment system, and this is pretty much what happens. You had your Lego bricks, just clicking them together, and then you have to glue something, to stick something to your construction in a way which is not standardized. We were talking about standards before. The standard we have, like the Lego bricks, these little holes and that you can clip together are in the web what we will call the REST APIs. It's this REST thing which allows people to know how to plug things all together. It's not. It could have been something else, but now it's really easy, and everyone's using REST as a standard. So you need to be RESTful to click bricks together, and most payment solutions are not, which means you have to glue that on your construction. And the thing is, just try to imagine you built a little vault with your Lego bricks, and then you want to make all the small plastic gold pieces. I don't know if you had that in your Legos before, and you want to make them come to your vault, and you have to stick this ugly pipe with super glue on your construction, which means if you want to build something else with your vault, you're just breaking everything and need to re-glue it again. If it was a Lego brick as the rest, you could have been plugging it again on another part of your application or whatever, and this would have been really easy to do. So fortunately, back in 2012, I remember one of the best days in my life. I was still working in a web agency at this time, and we discovered something called Braintree at this time, and this literally changed our life. Not practically because it was not available in Europe yet, but it was like a brighter future for us. Like a provider just providing you an API for making payments that you could integrate the way you want. And even better, afterwards, an even simpler one came, and it was called Stripe. And then we were really, really excited and said, we don't have that in Europe. And then Paymill came to Europe. And we started to use Paymills and Stripe on our project, and this changed everything for us. Because we were able to tell our customers, okay, you want to integrate payments right now? Okay, you can test it like tomorrow. Is that fine for you? And this allowed us to have our payment solution as a service, as everything else, because just, for example, consider something which was quite similar, like maybe even 10 years ago, when you needed a server just to host your application. You needed to have your own data center, only for big players. You needed to rent a server in your data center, or to rent shared hosting or something, but you had to fill out form, wait for it to be installed, and you couldn't put your application online beforehand. Now you have AWS, DigitalOcean. even pass like Heroku, like things like that. You really can just open an account, fill in a form, and okay, your service is ready. You can host your application there. This is what was missing for the payment experience. Now, for example, if we take Paymill as an example, you can be up and running in sandbox mode in 2 steps. You're creating an account. It's just this form. You're logging into your account. Just you have 2 API keys, and that's it. You can start making test transaction with that. It's kind of legoifying your banking. Like now, your banking part just became another brick. Like, I don't remember who said it was something like banking is just another brick in your app or something like that. I think it was a famous band. Don't remember the name. And this is the experience developers needed. Like, it's really developer friendly. Like, just, this is the way you can make a transaction. It might not seem friendly for non-developers, but for developers, this means now making a transaction is just a matter of calling an API. I don't have to install certificate, to install CGI scripts into my server or whatever. I'm just calling an external API, and it just creates a payment, creates a subscription, whatever. What this means is you gain a lot of flexibility, which means if you think again about the process of my burger shop, which was sending people out to an external page, then back to the site, this is a real lack of flexibility. It's just like you can't integrate it the way you want. For the donut shop, you saw that experience. It's because communicating with your payment system through an API allows you really to do it in the way you want. You could include your payment step at any time in your process, even if you want to disrupt the e-commerce industry and make people pay even before entering your website and ordering stuff, you could do so because it's just up to you. Like it's just, the banking system doesn't have to decide for you on your process, on your workflow, on the way you build your website. You don't have to build around your website. You just have to include it, and it should be included. Like, it's like all these small payment terminals that people can have inside their shops to make you pay. They don't have to install an external ATM or something because it can't fit inside their shop. It just works, and the banking providers just find a way so people can pay anywhere inside the shop or the restaurant. So think about your banking system in your website in the exact same way. But, okay, so PSPs provide you an easy way to pay. That's great, but can it do more? What else could it do for you? The great thing is, for example, unifying payment methods. I don't know, maybe some of you remember if they integrated payment on a website before, like this really dreaded moment when your customer was saying, okay, cool, now I have credit card payment, but hey, could I have PayPal as well? And we're like, okay, it's a whole PayPal integration again, and it was really not easy at this time. And so it was really annoying just to have to do 2 integrations for accepting 2 different payment methods. What this kind of unified APIs allows you to do is, no matter your payment method, you're just implementing it once. It's the job of your payment service provider just to tackle the hassle of managing all these different payment methods. You shouldn't have to do so. And for example, unfortunately, none of them manages all the payment methods at once for now, but at least it's really easy for most of them. Like, for example, Stripe will do the credit cards and Bitcoin. Braintree will do, obviously, PayPal. and credit cards, and PayMe will do SEPA, PayPal, and credit cards. So you always can find a provider which manages the main payment methods you want on your website. Another thing that was really annoying to implement that we had to do based on cron scripts and all these kind of things was subscriptions, like recurring payment. And this is becoming more and more important for SaaS businesses, which we see, which is like even more present than e-commerce on the web right now, I think. It's, yeah, okay, I want my users to subscribe to my service and be billed on a monthly basis, for example. You shouldn't have, as a developer, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Like, you don't have to worry about your database administration when you're having a hosted database. When you're having a hosted payment system, you shouldn't have to worry about your recurring payments. So PSPs can handle that for you too. Marketplaces. The marketplaces is something really annoying as well, and most of the time it would be very difficult if you wanted to do it yourself because of banking license and all these kind of things. So it's also the job of your payment service provider to just provide you an easy way to say, okay, you just get the money and now you can take a fee and just split the money between merchants or whatever. Like, it's something you don't have to worry about. Analytics. Like, you could build your own dashboards based on your transaction and whatever, but it's a job of your payment service provider as well, like bring you analytics. Most of the providers right now don't have analytics, but we see a lot of other services building analytics solutions upon major actors. And this brings another point, which is your banking platform, your banking system should be a platform as well. If you're providing banking services, just make it a platform. And that's something which has been said in another talk before, because it allows other people to add services, to add value on top of your own services. So the last thing which I'm not aware of right now, but which would have been really easy, really helpful for me when I was building e-commerce website is couponing. Like, it's related to your transaction as well. So service providers should provide couponing systems. That's another idea, for example. And you can have plenty of services to implement. Everything related to banking, to processing money, which could make your customers' life easier, your developers' life easier, should be implementing by services providers. And what could we imagine in the future? Cash payments, for example, like when we have invented the small teleporters you can have on your desk. Did you hear about that? Me neither, but maybe it will happen someday. So you might be able to just teleport your coins and your bills straight to the merchant bank vault. Maybe we are able to do that some way. And banking providers have to adapt to innovations, have to adapt to that. In the arsenal of developers, being easily integrable, provide a REST API, like almost any other service in the web right now, to allow people to build things upon it. And yeah, I just want to remind you something, like, it's not because taking money is serious business, because it's about security, all of these things, that it has to be boring for users, for end users, and for developers. Like today, banking has to become another brick, another Lego brick in the arsenal of developers, being easily integrable, provide a REST API, like almost any other service in the web right now, to allow people to build things upon it, and yeah, and just be integrable quickly. Like okay, it's never fun to create a merchant account or whatever, so just manage that for your customers and offer them a service experience like any other service on the web. So, yeah, that's it for the presentation of what makes a banking product sexy for developers. If you have any questions.
We have time for a few questions. Who is in the payment industry? Like whom specific payment, like not only who works on payments? Yeah. So a few people there. Yeah, late payments. I have a question for you. Is that I consider payment APIs like I call them transactional API. You know, it's not data you have access. You do something. You know, you do something on the network. SMS APIs are the same kind of. Email APIs, you know, transactional. You use the network to do some stuff and exchange orders or data. But sometimes it becomes a commodity, you know, because a lot of people abstract the network, provide an API, and show the API for developers. So I think for users, making payment through a specific provider doesn't change so much. They just want to receive money at the end or sending money. So in these specific APIs, SMS, emails, payments, or other transactions that can occur, what is the unfair advantage? Is just the developer experience? Like developer experience is the real advantage, like commercial advantage for developers?
For this kind of PSPs, it is today, but it should not be. It should not be like I think today, like providing a REST API for accessing a service should be like common sense. Like every provider should have that. So yeah, it's one of the advantage modern PSP have today. Say, okay, we provide an API and it's easy to integrate. But I think the real advantage is and the ways they are distinguishing amongst each other is more on strategic stuff, not at the technical level. For example, the number of payment methods you're offering, which allows your user integrating it just to make one integration for everything. It's about like the regions you're present in the world. It's about third-party services. That's why I say it's really important just to invent new services you could provide to your users around payment. Not only this transactional API you're talking about, but also like these analytics things, this like couponing, whatever you can think about, because this is what will differentiate the different providers. And that's why I would agree with Ronnie Mitra as well when he says we don't want to see a standardized set of functionalities on APIs, standardized payment APIs or whatever, because you want the APIs providers to be able to innovate and say, okay, no, I'm providing this bill teleportation things because I'm the first on the market to do that, and that's the way the competition should happen. Like just having an API, a clean API, shouldn't be an unfair advantage. And I hope it won't be anymore soon. Okay. But for now, it is still, having an API and a good developer experience is an unfair advantage for you at this period? For a bank? Yeah, for now. And there are more and more actors. It's not a surprise that we see new PSPs, like PSPs as a service, coming out like every month now. There are more and more and more, and it's not a surprise because there is a need on that. Like really, integrating payment have been a nightmare for many developers for years, and now they really want to have this experience they have with other services. Like it might not have been so much important like back in time when people were building full stack application all the time, but now we're really in this web as a framework thing where we're just using the web as an application building framework, like bringing services all together. And so it's really important considering that all the parts making an application are really easy to integrate in this Lego bricks way. So, okay.
No, scratching again. So thank you, Yann. Thank you very much for this talk. Yeah, you can applaud, yeah.